Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial video. Today I got a video question here from Mr. Dan23, who asked in the Medical Speedrunner server, can someone tell me how I changed the difficulty on Livesplit? Let me give you some context. So basically I'm trying to fill up my runs in Livesplit, but it always shows me my very easy run times. I want to be able to switch to a new save file of Livesplit where I can choose either difficulty when speedrunning. Like I want to be able to create a new save file on Livesplit. When I'm going to speedrun, let's say extreme difficulty, I will see my extreme difficulty times and not compared to my, Dan, that is quite easily done. And that's why I'm making this video. Thanks for this question. We'll be taking as today's example here, the leaderboard for 𝐸𝐻𝐻 HD, because it has not just two categories, but also a lot of subcategories that we can use here to filter downwards. And this filtering is not only important to see, for example, the current world record, as Mr. Dan himself is right now, but also it helps us to organize our split files quite easily. So let's go and start with Livesplit itself. As you can see on my screen here, on the left, I got Livesplit open. I already added here the splits for 𝐸𝐻𝐻3, which is the main splits as they exist from the Livesplitter. Now, even if you split on console and do it manually to get the RTA time, you can still do this. This is completely outside of any auto-splitting script. First off, if you have not set it yet, first set your game name here. And how do we even get to Splits Editor? Well, let's go one step back here. You go to Edit Splits, right-click on Livesplit and Edit Splits. And from here on out, we basically talk to the API through this little window. We have basically, with this window, a connection to the speedrun.com API, and I can talk to it with a little bit of input. What we're going to do here is enter Metal Gear Solid 3, and it will automatically filter the game list and give me a selection here. So we want to look at the leaderboard for 𝐸𝐻𝐻3 HD edition. Then we can set the category. A category is something that's always on top here, and there is more stuff down there, which we'll get to in just a second. But if you don't see something like any % of very easy difficulty, that is because the speedrun.com website functions via multiple variables. So you have lots of fields that you can enter your variables in and your values for those. And that will help you then further filter out the category you actually want to have. So for all intents and purposes of 𝐸𝐻𝐻3, we're going to go here to single segment. Just to show you on how, for example, 𝐸𝐻𝐻1 looks like, the 𝐸𝐻𝐻1 leaderboard looks slightly different. There, the category, as it updates now, there you go. The categories are immediately a little bit more speaking. So we have any %, all bosses, glitchless, and so forth. So you know a little bit easier where you can go. Let's go back to 𝐸𝐻𝐻3 HD. And we're going to focus here on a single segment because that's what most people want to run. So how do I get, for example, now the data for very easy single segment and specifically for console? Well, here's the cool thing. We not only have here the tabs for real-time and game time, but also additional info. And here in additional info, we can also set way more data. Let me extend the window a little bit here. These are the variables that also the submission window uses. So when you submit a new run, you have to answer these anyway. And thankfully, these can also help us now filter and organize our Livesplit files itself. So for region, for example, if you have any particular reason that you want to submit here, you can use, for example, JP. Or, of course, the North American version, USA, NTSC. The platform here is literally the console or PC that you play on. So say, for example, we're playing PlayStation 5, like Mr. Dan does. We pick PlayStation 5. You can also set if it's in-game or New Game or New Game Plus. And set if Turbo has been used. And the actual subcategory that finally comes in here is the platform. So this platform is different to this platform up here. This top right platform is literally the console that you play on. It will be shown on the leaderboards. But this platform here is something that the moderators on this game has set up. And this is actually a subcategory. Subcategory means that these are variables, unlike Turbo, New Game Plus, and Rank, that are actually used here to make more of these boards happen. So if you set a variable like difficulty, and you have these different entries that you can give it here, these are being used to filter down further these runs. Because what you maybe want to know is in the background of speedrun.com, for a game, all the runs exist at once. There's literally just the game plus all the runs. And then thanks to these variables and information in these variables, we can filter them down more. So single segment and multi-segment is the category. And then subcategories like difficulty and platform help you further choose which board you want to participate in basically and compare yourself to as well. As we said, we have currently very easy. We're going to look at here for Mr. Dan, and he's running on console. So that's what we want to set here. On platform, we're going to go console and difficulty. Very easy. And as we can see here on the left now, world record is 104.31 by Mr. Dan23. Exactly what I wanted to have. What you need to know is you don't need to set in all of these different information here. Like we don't need to set the rank. We don't need to set New Game Plus, and so forth. We just need the ones that actually make a subcategory happen. So these are platform and difficulty in case of 𝐸𝐻𝐻3. Even the region you can technically leave empty. It does not change anything. We can, however, filter further with extra information. But before we do that, let me give you support how to also manage your files. So if we go here, right click and then save splits as, You can see already I have here user folder document speedrun MGS3, where all my splits files are included here. As you can see, it also gives it a very long name already. This is very cool because this is an automatically created name by Livesplit, and it uses all the information that we have. It uses the game, Metal Gear Solid 3 HD Edition, category, single segment, and then in brackets here, the subcategories that we've given it here. So very easy console. And I know, okay, this is the Livesplit file for this leaderboard that I want to participate in. I can go ahead and save it here, for example, and that's that. I can make my runs happen here. I'm going to make a fake speedrun happen. Oh my god, I'm so fast. I'll beat the game in just a few seconds. Then I'm done. I need to change my comparison here to real time, and then we can see the times here. I'm like, oh my god, I got a 6 seconds world record. Well, sadly, real time is not being used for the leaderboards here, or else world record would change immediately to world record is 6 seconds by me. This works definitely in real time categories, which you can switch to later as an example. But let's say, okay, we have to see, I'm going to save these splits, and now we're going to change my difficulty, the use case that Mr. Dan has proposed. So, if I want to go here, I'm going to go here to real time. And I think I there we go, we're going to set it one more time forward. There we go. Now, all of the times are here. Then I'll go and switch over to extreme difficulty, for example. And I'm just, well, the extreme, everything takes a little bit longer. It doesn't make sense to compare them here to my very easy times. So if I use a split file, I usually reuse old ones, but I clean them up. How does this work? Super simple. First, we're going to go to Other, Clear History, Clear Times. And there we go. In that sense, we just cleaned up all these split times here. Now we can switch over to additional info. I'm going to change from very easy here to extreme or European extreme, whatever you like. You can also see the world record has now updated to this current world record for the extreme difficulty. Now, if I go and save splits as, now I can save it. And as I said here, this split file name is automatically created by Livesplit. And so we can see, hey, now it's 𝐶𝐚𝐮 extreme console. Right, now I can save it here. And if I want to go back then to my very easy time, I can see Metal Gear Solid 3 HD Edition has already been selected. There's, of course, way more here because I've been running a lot. And then you can see here, there's 𝐶𝐚𝐮 extreme console and 𝐶𝐚𝐮 very easy console that I can switch between now. Go back here, I got my very easy time. I do run very easy, great, and I want to switch over to extreme. I simply select now my extreme file, and then we're good to go. And that way you can organize and easily switch back and forth between these different Livesplit save files. All right. That's basically how to set all the additional information. Again, key is that the game name is set to the game that you want to connect to, basically via the API here. Basically, you just start typing in your game and then the list comes up, and with the arrow down, you can even select further. And then you have to select the run category here. After that, in additional info, you can set more information that are relevant towards the boards, which again, we can see if we look at an actual board here. Difficulty, very easy. Platform, console, that's what we're going to set it to here. And then we're all set here to be able to compare our times to the world record time and so forth. Now, it could be that for some reason you want to compare not against your PlayStation 5 time, but versus another time here. As I said, platform, we don't even need to insert technically. It is not necessary to filter out here, but it can be interesting for certain games. So for example, if you go over to Metal Gear Solid 1, let it update here. So we got all bosses, for example. I want to go over to additional info. And then I say, okay, difficulty, I want to see the best time for extreme played on console. And we see here the world record is 1 hour 27:40 by 𝐇𝐚𝐮_13. And if you check the leaderboard, that is true. All bosses, PC 23 console, difficulty extreme, world record is 1:27:40 by 𝐇𝐚𝐮_13, but it's played on PS TV. I would like to compare myself versus the PlayStation 1 time because, for example, I am personally a lover of the original PlayStation 1 hardware and how it plays the game, but it also runs slower. And the comparison to the PlayStation TV, which uses a digital version of Metal Gear Solid 1, does not make much sense, right? So if I want to compare my Livesplit time, not versus the PS TV, but specifically versus the PlayStation 1, I can set it here. But as you can see here, platform currently is not swapping out the world record because the platform is not a factor for this world record display. So what we can do? Well, for that we go over to edit layout. And if you're not inserted yet, there's two cool things that we can use in order to change our display based on the variables and data that we've given to Livesplit. So if I double click here, title, you can see that the title then also has different options here to show what we include here. So we can just show the game here, so we know it's Metal Gear Solid. We can dig deeper and show also the category specifically. And this extends by the values that we give it. And then there's more things, of course, like show attempt count, show finished runs count, display the game icon if it exists. And there's even the option to show it all in one line to save space here. There's even, as I said, the variables. So we can just go with the category, all bosses, or with the extra data, console and extreme. And even the region if you want to, and the platform if we've set it. So let's say, okay, I'm running on PlayStation 1 and I play console extreme. You can do that, all bosses PlayStation 1. But the world record still is comparing versus the PlayStation TV times. So we go over to check the world record here. There is filter leaderboard by as a section. And this is where actually more stuff comes in. So let's show just the basics thing here. Nothing is selected. That basically filters the leaderboard just by the game and the category all bosses. And the world record for all bosses is 52 minutes and 46 seconds, which is true. The fastest time for all bosses all over without any of these filters being applied here is actually, as we can see here, on PC 2000, very easy difficulty, 52 minutes and 46. But of course, we want to look here at console and extreme, as you see here. And so that's where we want to at least go by the variables. The variables set, of course, the filters, and subcategories is that one which we actually want to look at. And so if I set subcategories here, which we've defined in the edit splits, now it splits also by the PC 2023 and console platform or played on category, and of course the difficulty category. There's even more that we can use, like platform. And as I say here, I use the platform PlayStation 1 specifically, not PSTV. The leaderboards get filtered by PlayStation 1. So this is basically the same as if I was using the filter here, and instead of using all, I'm just going to look at PlayStation, use that filter here, and there we go, the world record here. Specifically, if I filter for PlayStation 1, is slides 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 36 seconds. So that's the way how you can specify in Livesplit further what game you want to look at and what game you want to compare yourself to, next to, of course, organizing all your data. In summary, in edit splits, set everything correctly here, including the additional info if you want. And then you can use stuff like, of course, saving a file and automatically name creation, but also stuff like in the layout, like title and world record here, in order to further make information accessible to you and, of course, your viewers on stream, for example. Further organize yourself and, of course, show cool information towards your viewers. Thanks again to Mr. Dan23 for asking a question, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.